Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pillar to Post, and I am your host, as always, Pete Wall. Now, I've been wanting to do this since Sunday night, and I just haven't had the time. I watched Great Balls of Fire on Sunday night, and I was so exhausted. I did a 5-hour stream right before the pay-per-view, missed the kickoff show, and went straight into the pay-per-view, Great Balls of Fire. Got upstairs just in time to catch the first match. So, I'm going to give you my review of the pay-per-view today. Now, before we get going, as always, I'm going to give a shout out. This is the Circle of Steel brand representing Pillar to Post, as always. And then my sponsors. Got to give a shout out to my sponsors. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com at /Pillar to Post. Now they have over 200,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So you can take your book anywhere you go, be it fishing, be it doing dishes, at the gym, camping, you name it, you've got your book with you there, and you can have it read to you by someone else while your hands are busy. Now, here's the kicker. If you decide you don't want to stick it out for the 30-day free trial, once you have your free audiobook downloaded, and you can cancel your membership, and you still keep the audiobook. So you have that going for you. Now, our latest sponsor is Grapple Merch. And you can visit grapple.bigcartel.com. And when using this code at the checkout, Pillar to Post 77, you receive a discount courtesy of Pillar to Post and Grapple Merch. They have memorabilia such as t-shirts, that's WWE t-shirts, autographed photos, WWE Elite Wrestling figures in your very own Grapple box. Now, if you don't know what a Grapple box is, basically they put t-shirts, maybe a Funko Pop in there, a wrestler figure, and some autographed photos of wrestlers. You name it, they have it in here. This month's is Grapple Box for Elite. Now, I've already ordered mine. I plan on doing an unboxing right here on Pillar to Post. And make sure you check it out. Every time you actually use these links, you help this channel out. Make sure you check them out. So we've got the sponsors taken care of. Now you can always find my Teespring store, and those links are in the description below for Pillar to Post as well as Circle of Steel. I've got a Facebook merchandise page link there for you, as well as my Facebook author page, and you can send me a friend request at your choosing. You want to connect with me on Facebook, you have that option. Those links are in the description below as well. My VidMe channel is in the description as well, and Patreon. If you want to support this channel for all the hard work I put into it, you can visit my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Pillar to Post, and you can donate or pledge for as low as $1 a month. But if you pledge for a higher amount, there are rewards for you. Make sure you check out the page. And as always, my email address is in the description below as well. It is steeldragon1234@hotmail.com. Now, if you want to order stuff like the beanie I'm wearing, or the t-shirts or hoodies I've shown you, those can be ordered through me. There is merchandise in my Teespring store, as well as my Facebook merchandise page. So make sure you check those out if you're interested. So, I was trying to figure out how to go about this, and I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take the beanie off. I just wear it so I can show it off. It's summertime, man. I don't need to be wearing a beanie, but I do know, like, my kids, my son Austin, he's 16 years old. He wears one every day of the summer. I don't understand how kids can do it, but they're stronger than this guy here, because I can't take the heat. Now, I was trying to figure out how to go about doing this review, because frankly, when it comes down to it, these matches were all very predictable. I knew the outcome. I was going to do a prediction show, just did not have the time to do it. This last week was so busy and I just could not find the time to get it done. Now, you're looking at me at, it's 6:42 a.m. as I'm recording this. I haven't slept a wink, okay? This is going on past 24 hours. No sleep. And shortly, I'll be going outside, and I'll be starting to work on my son's car. And I probably won't sleep till later this afternoon, get a little bit of sleep before SmackDown begins, and then I can give you that review as well. So this is the kind of schedule I run. Now, what have I been doing all night? I've been trying to sleep. But I was up till 2 in the morning down here in my dungeon working on tag teams, putting them together for the Big Dog show that I do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. So how am I going to do this review? You know what? I'm pretty sure you guys have probably watched all the reviews already. You don't, and if you have seen the pay-per-view, you don't need me to call out what happened during the match. Now, like I said, the show was very predictable. Great Balls of Fire. After watching it, I looked at my daughter. She always watches wrestling with me. I looked at her and said, I guessed every single one of these matches down to the T. That's how predictable this pay-per-view was. And the problem is, it's the same guys fighting each other all the time. Or, there's no substance behind these matches. There's no real reason why they should be fighting, because a proper storyline hasn't been able to, percolate and get us involved and wanting us to be there live. And that's what a good feud should be. It should be there to really grab at you and pull you in and make you want to buy a pay-per-view ticket so you can be there live. And we don't get that. Now, the first show to start off the main card was Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. I can understand why this was going first. Frankly, Bray Wyatt, since the Superstar shakeup, has been lost. Okay, this guy always cuts a great promo, but when it comes down to it, he's been lost. He was the heavyweight champion of SmackDown, for fuck's sakes. And now, they can barely find a reason to have him on television, except for to say he's a god. Now, the match between these two, it wasn't too bad. It's just, frankly, it just all went so predictable. And it wasn't even that, it wasn't a memorable match. And that's what we should be getting out of these guys. Memorable matches. I forgot about this match before we even got halfway through the pay-per-view. Okay? Like, everything in this match we've seen them do before. We've seen them go at it before. And yes, Seth Rollins as a face just does not cut it for me. Like, who is he, really? You look at Seth Rollins, who is he? He was the Architect. Now he was the Kingslayer. Now he is Seth freaking Rollins. And then you have Bray Wyatt. Like I said, lost. Ever since the Superstar shakeup, he's been lost. And they throw these guys at each other, hoping something sticks. It stuck a little bit, okay? Was it a fantastic match? Absolutely not. Should Wyatt have won the match? Absolutely. But it could have been done in a better way than making it look like he got a cheap win. Yes, he's a heel. Does he need to lose or win as a heel? No. He can win flat out legitimately and make it look good. Make it look believable. Put the hurt down on Seth Rollins like nobody's business. What do? They have him thumbing in the eye. He rolls back into the ring, hits Sister Abigail. It's done. And what makes him seem like a god then? Gods would not be taking cheap shots to get the win. Yes, like I said, he's a heel. I understand that. But if you're trying to make him into this godlike figure, frankly, it's not going to work. Not doing it the way you did it. If you are going to make this guy trying to make him the next Undertaker type character, you got to go about it a different route. You can't go about it like the way you did Mankind or like you did Undertaker. You got to go about it a whole new route. You had the cult angle going. Undertaker wasn't a cult leader. Bray Wyatt is. He's got that way of talking to people. He's got that way of telling a story in his promos. It was working. And what did you do? You abolished it. You destroyed it. And then had him with Randy Orton. Then Randy Orton turns on him. And then he loses the title to Randy Orton, who, frankly, no one wanted to see it. This match here just further made him look like a cheap win. That's all he can do to get a win is cheat, get the cheap win, and there you go. This match did absolutely nothing for me, did nothing for WWE, did nothing for the career of these men. And then on top of that, last night they had to face each other again, and what do you know? It went down exactly the same way. So what was the point of it all? That's what I want to know. Is it to launch Bray Wyatt further up into the rankings? Would be nice. I would like to see him in another title bout. Not against Brock Lesnar, because what do you do with Brock Lesnar? You just feed him people. And that's what you did tonight again. So, Bray Wyatt wins. They gave it to him with a cheap win. There you go. Now, up next, we had the Hardy Boys backstage talking to Charlie. Now, Charlie asked them what they can do to get the win over Cesaro and Sheamus at Great Balls of Fire. Matt made some strange comment about watching cartoons with his kids earlier in the day and called Sheamus and Cesaro villains. Didn't really sit well with me. And then Jeff says they break limits and they break bars. Okay. So, not a very interesting promo by the Hardy Boys, but it is what it is. It's Great Balls of Fire, people, so understand that. So, we get our second match of the night, and it's Enzo Amore going up against Big Cass. And how did you guys think this match was going to end? Seriously. Did you think it was going to end with Enzo Amore victorious over his dastardly, backstabbing friend? Because if that's what you were hoping for, you were so sadly mistaken, folks. Okay, this was just a one-sided beatdown by Big Cass. And at the end of it all, I don't know what the point was to have this match on the main card. We had Cass end up in the end picking up Enzo Amore. Gorilla presses him and throws him out of the ring. Enzo ends up getting a big boot for the win. You know, there you go. But everyone knew how this match was going to go, and if you thought it was going to go any other way, you were an idiot. Okay, a pure idiotic mark. If you thought Enzo Amore was going to do anything but get his ass handed to him tonight, or I mean at Great Balls of Fire. Absolutely no way Big Cass is going down to the little guy. So there you go with that match. Did nothing. What did it mean? Okay, they broke up already. Did Cass need to actually go and beat him down even further than he already had? No. But they wanted everyone to realize that this team was not coming back ever. Big Cass is going up and he's going to be a big heel. That's what they want you guys to remember. Not that there's any hope of a reunion. And now this next match pisses me off in so many different ways. 30-minute Iron Man Tag Team Championship match. You know what? I said this on my Raw review. Any good tag team bout lasts at least 30 minutes. And then to call this tag team match a 30-minute Iron Man match, give me a break. How bad is the crotch rot on Vince McMahon for him to even believe this would be considered by the fans as an Iron Man match? And then you throw the tag team titles in it. Well, let me see. How did it start off? Matt Hardy gets kicked in the face right off the hop of the match. Cesaro runs into the ring, slides out. Matt turns around, bada bing. Bro kick to the face. There's your first fall. This is what I hate about Iron Man matches, the way they do them today. They go and throw on a silly number, like 30 minutes. An Iron Man match should be no less than 1 hour. You look back at all the great Iron Man matches in the history of WWE alone. They are not under an hour. And those men have bled, sweat, cried, scratched and clawed their way through that match, and in the end the fans were cheering for both. It didn't matter if you were a babyface or a heel. You were getting cheered because you knew you gave those fans every drop of what you had inside of you. And then you get this match. Starts off bro kick, one loss already to the Hardy Boys. Wow. Yeah, you know what? I knew there was no possible way the Hardy Boys were going to go down as champions after this. I already guessed they weren't ready to give the Bar, a loss this early and take their titles away. They look at what happened tonight on Raw for just one. With all the rumors going around with the broken gimmick and everything, and then tonight on Monday Night Raw, or I should say last night on Monday Night Raw, we heard huge references of the broken universe coming. So, the first fall went really damn quick, and after that, it was just back and forth, and then all of a sudden, bam! Sheamus and Cesaro hit their finisher on Jeff, get another pinfall, so that's already two falls within half an hour. I'm letting you guys think about this, okay? The match continues. It goes back and forth a bit. Poetry in motion by the Hardys. Side effect by Matt. Twist of fate by Jeff for the pin. Now it's 2-1. So they're going back at it. And this one is a countout. So it's 3-1 now for Sheamus and Cesaro. Keeps going. Matt backslides Cesaro. Jeff wraps up Cesaro for a pin. Now, it was a unique way of doing it. And no, it was not a bad match. I've just got a problem with them calling it an Iron Man match and how many pinfalls were gained in that half an hour. Hardy Boys 2, Cesaro and Sheamus 3. We're going in. We get Whisper in the Wind by Jeff Hardy for a near fall. Jeff sunset flips Sheamus for another near fall. Flying knee by Sheamus. Jeff tags in Matt. Matt plants Sheamus with a tornado DDT for a very long 2 count. We move on. We get Twist of Fate off the rope. Sheamus is done. And it is now Sheamus and Cesaro 3. The Hardy Boys 3. Jeff tags in and goes up top for the Swanton. Cesaro pulls Sheamus out of the ring. Jeff dives to the outside onto them both. And I need a drink. So, keep going. Jeff hits the Swanton off the top onto Sheamus. But Sheamus isn't the legal man. Cesaro rushes in, rolls up Jeff, gets the pin. It's 4-3. So, this is where it gets, interesting. Cesaro runs out of the ring. Jeff gives chase. Jeff hits the Twist of Fate. But time runs out as he pins Cesaro. So your winners and still tag team champions of Raw, Cesaro and Sheamus. So we had 4 wins for Cesaro and Sheamus. We had 3 wins for the Hardys. Almost 4 wins for the Hardys in half an hour. What did this match do for any one of these guys? Honestly, what did it do for any of these guys? It made them look fucking weak. Okay? You've got the Hardy Boys coming back. They come in, they join the TLC match, grab the ladders, bam, they are champions, they're back, the fans are excited. Then they drop the titles. Sheamus and Cesaro are now champions. They get 30 minutes for a so-called Iron Man match. And 7 falls are in that half an hour. Unfucking believable. I was pissed when I watched this match. Completely pissed. I could have seen 3. 3 just to fluke it out, or a tie. 1-1. I could have seen that. And since it ends in a tie, your champion's still Cesaro and Sheamus. This here was completely ridiculous. 7 pinfalls in a tag team match in 30 minutes. And if you guys weren't bothered by that, I don't know what the hell your problem is, frankly. Because that is uncalled for. This made both teams look fucking terrible and fucking weak. And if you thought it was enjoyable, give me a damn break. They had interesting moments in there, but for the life of me, I cannot understand why they would have gone that way. Now, those numbers would have looked a little bit better after an hour, but 30 minutes? No, I'm sorry. No. Then up next was the Raw Women's Championship match, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. Now, it wasn't a bad match. I'm not going to complain, okay? It was back and forth. We've seen some good shit from both women. And at the end of it, Banks follows Bliss. Oh, yeah, where we go? Where are we? Here we go. Banks tries to lock in the Banks statement, but Bliss rolls to the outside. Banks follows, but Bliss sweeps Banks' leg while she's on the apron. Now, Banks hit back first on the hardest part of the ring. Insult injury by Bliss for a near fall. And Banks goes behind Bliss. Bliss runs to the ropes. We get a semi-clean break from Banks. Bliss lands a shoulder tackle. After a tackle drop down spot, Banks floors Bliss with a drop kick of her own. Bliss rolls out of the ring and to collect herself. Banks hits the ropes. Hits the rope walk arm. Sorry, mixed up my shit. Banks hits an arm drag off the top and double knees in the corner by Banks. Bliss misses the clothesline in the corner. Banks arm drags Bliss. Bliss's arm looks like it's dislocated. I thought this was a brilliant bit she'd pulled. She's holding her arm and you could clearly see it wasn't broken. She's clearly double jointed, but I liked the way they did it. Okay? She looked like that she had a dislocated elbow. Sasha Banks completely baffled, just staring at her, just shocked. The referee's checking on her, and Banks looks mortified. So that was a good thing. She sold it excellently. Banks walks over to Bliss, levels her with an elbow to the face. Bliss pops her arm back into place. Banks walks over to Bliss, who levels Banks with an elbow to the face. Bliss pops her arm back into place. Banks surprises Bliss with a backstabber. Banks tries to lock in the Banks statement again, but Bliss rolls to the outside. Banks follows, but Bliss sweeps Banks' leg while she is on the apron. I already read this. Why did I write it twice? Okay, here we go. In the end, Banks tries to pull Bliss back into the ring. Let's see. Bliss slams Banks' head on the apron. Banks leaves the ring and tosses Bliss into the barricade. Banks tries to pull Bliss back into the ring, but Bliss catches her with an overhead punch. Bliss gets herself counted out. Your winner, still women's champion, Sasha Banks. What? Damn it. Alexa Bliss. I do apologize. Alexa Bliss was your winner. Now, like I said, it wasn't a bad match. It had plenty of good in it. That fake out with the broken or the dislocated elbow, awesome. Okay? You cannot shit on what Alexa Bliss brings to the table in the women's division. She has made it look great. Now, after the match, Bliss was gloating as she walked up the ramp. Banks goes nuts and runs up the ramp and attacks Bliss. Bliss tries to DDT Banks on the announce table, but Banks throws Bliss off the table down to the pit, and Banks dives off and hits the double knee strike on Bliss. So there you go, was that match. Like I said, wasn't a bad match. The women can put on a damn good show when they want. Now, if this match up next was not predictable to you, I don't know, people. The Intercontinental Championship match. The Miz with Maurice, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas in his corner versus Dean Ambrose. We've seen this match a ton of times. Throw in a couple of extra bodies. There's a little bit difference. A little bit. Obviously, the blatant cheating on the Miz's side with his Miz-tourage. Other than that, this match went down exactly like every single one of their matches did. Except for you had Maurice there interfering, you had Bo Dallas interfering, and you had Curtis Axel interfering. In the end, like obvious, we all knew it was going to happen. The Miz would retain his Intercontinental Championship match. I hate the match because I've seen it so many damn times. I'm tired of seeing it. And then we had the ambulance match, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Also very predictable. Braun Strowman was headed to win. And he did. Oh, excuse me. And frankly, it went down exactly like we all predicted. It was going to be a back and forth match. A lot of Strowman doing his power moves. A lot of Strowman kicking Reigns' ass. Reigns making comebacks, but coming up short all the time. In the end, Roman Reigns was thrown into the ambulance. It was a good match. I love seeing it, but it was very predictable. Okay? I knew exactly the way they were going to play it out. Reigns was going to come back, Superman punch after Superman punch, spear attempts, you name it, he was going to do it. He was going to throw it all in there, but constantly get dropped back down by Braun Strowman, the monster among men. And so it should have been, because frankly, Braun Strowman deserved this win more than Roman Reigns. Now, like I said, in the end, it was Reigns that was thrown into the ambulance. Strowman won the match. But after the match, Reigns bursts out of the back of the ambulance and spears Strowman. Reigns puts Strowman into the back of the ambulance. Reigns gets into the driver's side of the ambulance, drives off. In the parking lot, Reigns drives the ambulance, actually backs it into a parked semi-tractor. Now the whole back end just caves right in. Kurt Angle and various officials try to get Strowman out of the back and have no way of getting him out. They throw an impromptu match to fill time. This is what I thought was odd. We didn't even really see any of this match. It was Heath Slater versus Kurt Hawkins. Now, because they didn't really show anything, they started the beginning of the match and then they just went straight out to the back because the sirens were going for the fire trucks and ambulance and all that. So it cued right back. We were told that Slater won the match, but who really cared? Now, they finally get Strowman out of the crushed-in ambulance. Strowman refuses to let them put him on the stretcher. He stumbles out of the ambulance bloody and broken. Strowman keeps trying to get to his feet and keeps on falling back down. Now Strowman eventually gets to his feet and stumbles away and yells at everyone to leave him alone. And he just disappears behind all the parked cars. So that was that. We didn't get an update. Obviously, he's not hurt too bad. So it is all in story. But up next was the match everyone was worried about, waiting for, and dying to see. The Universal Championship match, Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman in his corner, going up against Samoa Joe. And I have to say, I didn't expect as much as I did get. I expected it would be a couple of hits by Joe, and then it'd all be Suplex City, F5, be done. Don't get me wrong, this match started off the right way. But it went to complete shit later on. Complete shit. I was not happy. I want to see another match between these two, and I want to see it done right. So as Heyman is giving Lesnar a special intro, Joe attacks Lesnar from behind, sends him out to the floor, and Joe slams Lesnar into the barricade. Now Joe picks up Lesnar and drops him through the announce table with a huge Uranagi. Lesnar slowly crawls back into the ring. Lesnar smiles and tells the referee to ring the bell. Joe instantly crushes Lesnar in the corner and hits a falling enziguri for an exclamation point. Now Joe knees Lesnar. Lesnar responds with a few knees of his own. Joe sprawls out of a takedown attempt. Joe forces Lesnar into the corner and lands a few lefts and rights. Lesnar forces Joe into the corner and lands a few shoulder blocks. Joe locks in the coquina clutch. Lesnar manages to send Joe into the turnbuckle. Lesnar waist locks Joe and lands 3 consecutive German suplexes. Lesnar tries another, but Joe hooks to the top rope. Joe grabs the referee and delivers a low blow, and Lesnar drops down to the floor. Now, we get another Uranagi by Joe. Lesnar kicks out of a pinning attempt. Joe locks in the coquina clutch again. Lesnar tries to fight out of it to no avail. Lesnar breaks the hold with a sidewalk slam. Now Lesnar charges in for a shoulder block, but Joe moves out of the way. Lesnar is sent shoulder first into the ring post. Joe grabs Lesnar by the waist, but Lesnar slips between Joe's legs and delivers another German suplex to him. Lesnar picks up Joe and drops him 3 more Germans. Lesnar picks up Joe for the F5, but Joe reverses it into the coquina clutch again. Lesnar starts to fade. All of a sudden, Lesnar stands up with Joe on his back, hits the F5. Lesnar pins Joe. Winner, and still your Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. So, it started off good. It did. And then when I seen those 3 German suplexes, it's like, damn, I knew it was going to happen. It couldn't it just couldn't hold off. And then it was done again, and then he finally gets the coquina clutch back on. Now I knew Brock Lesnar was winning. But there was a part of me that was hoping that Joe would bring out a little bit more out of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has sheltered his abilities to the point where he doesn't wrestle. He walks in there with one idea, one thought, and one goal. I'm going to German suplex your ass off. I'm going to hit my F5. I'm going to pin you, and then I'm going to go home, and I'm going to laugh at how rich I've gotten because you guys are complete fucking morons. Okay? That's all his intentions are, and that's all you get. Yeah, we've seen a few knees, we've seen a few strikes. Other than that, what did you see from Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire? Honestly. Okay, be honest with yourselves. That wasn't a great match. It started off with the potential to be a great match. And then Lesnar just went back to his roots. Okay? I would have loved to have seen him do some wrestling. I would have loved to have seen him do some takedowns. I would have liked to see them slugging it out back and forth. Man to man, toe to toe, and just slugging it out like 2 fighters would. You didn't get that. Okay? Joe started the match off the right way. He was working it. But working with Brock Lesnar, you get limited input on what can be done. I'm surprised he allowed what happened to have happened. But you could clearly see once the German suplexes started, that's all he was going to do. And he was going to finish you off with the F5. Fuck you, I'm going home. I'm a rich pig, and this title's going to collect more dust. Ha 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 ha. Fuck you all. And that's what it was. That's my thoughts on Vince McMahon's Great Balls of Fire. Next time, get an ointment, please. And then give us something that we actually want to see. This has been Pillar to Post. This was my reaction to Great Balls of Fire. I think I need some fucking ointment after that fucking pay-per-view. Honestly. It was terrible. Have a good night all, or a good day I should say. And I will catch you after SmackDown to give you the SmackDown report. This has been Pete Wall. You have been watching Pillar to Post. And I wish I could have been a little bit nicer about the pay-per-view. Honestly, they just don't give you enough to praise them on. Sorry about that, folks.